What is up, you guys? This is Mini Superheroes Today, and in today's video, I'll be showing you my Spider-Man Far From Home Purist LEGO Custom Showcase, where we're gonna go through the movie with every single character that made a major appearance and show you how to build them as a LEGO figure. Now, as you can see here, this is a lot of the main cast, but if you've seen Spider-Man Far From Home, then you know it's not everybody. And the reason being is, I know that the movie just came out, but I want to get this showcase out, and there will be spoilers characters at the end of this showcase. I'll give you guys a fair warning before the spoilers characters come in, but if you have not seen Spider-Man Far From Home yet, you'll be able to watch up till that point and not have anything spoiled. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in, and we'll take a look at all of the figures that you see on the screen right now. Then we'll take a little pause, and I'll give you a spoiler warning, and then we'll do the spoiler characters, and we'll round this video out. So, let's dive in. Alright, so we'll start off with the classic blue and red Spider-Man suit, and of course this is the one from Spider-Man Homecoming and from the Spider-Man Far From Home Stark Battle jet thing. So, you know, pretty basic figure, but it is a really great figure for customs because you get these red feet, the blue legs. It's just a really great looking figure, and dare I say, one of the better Spider-Man figures we've ever gotten from LEGO. Here we've got Aunt May, who's a really fun character, and to build this figure, I used the torso and legs from Lois Lane from Batman vs. Superman. The head comes from the LEGO Women of NASA LEGO Ideas set, and then the hair is the long hair from Scarlet Witch from Captain America Civil War. I really think this looks a lot like Marissa Tomei, and I'm really proud of this custom, so I hope that you guys like it too. So when it comes to building an Iron Spider figure, I think that the cool thing is that if you use this head from the most recent iteration of Spider-Man comic-based sets, it's really cool because there's a little blue tint around the eyes that almost make the suit look a little bit extra mechanical, and I like that extra look. Then the torso and of course the arms are from the Iron Spider that officially came in the Avengers Infinity War Sanctum Sanctorum set. And then the only other thing you'll need to change out are the legs, and you can get those legs from the Spider-Man Homecoming figure or the Far From Home Stark Jet Battle thing figure. Because the thing about those legs is you get the dual molded legs, which have red boots on the bottom and blue pants on top, and it's a better look than the Iron Spider legs that came on the actual figure, because those were just red legs with blue printing over top. So I think that this is the best way to build a better Iron Spider, and I hope that you guys like it. So we did get a Happy Hogan figure, sort of, in the Spider-Man Far From Home Stark Jet set, but I mean, guys, this looks nothing like Happy Hogan. Literally, the only thing they have in common is that it's a male LEGO minifigure. But I'm gonna stop talking about that before this video becomes just too unbearable, and I'm gonna show you how to build my version of Happy Hogan starting here. So up top, we've got the hair from Peter Venkman from LEGO Dimensions and from the LEGO Ghostbusters Firehouse, and the head has the nice little blip beard as we see in Spider-Man Far From Home, and this head comes from Kraven the Hunter. So moving down then, the torso and the legs are from Phil Coulson from the LEGO Marvel line, and when you zoom out, that's everything that is to this figure. And here we have Mysterio, my favorite Spider-Man villain of all time, and they did a really great job with this figure straight out of the box, so I didn't make any updates to this version, but I do have some other Mysterio versions in this video. So I really like the cape, even though it's one of these spongy capes that I don't like. The color's unique, and everything looks really good. Now, one thing I will say is in the movie, Mysterio actually has more gold on his torso. It's actually like exactly the same design here, but the figure is more green than it is gold. But I really don't know if there's a way to upgrade that beyond what we already have while keeping it as accurate as it looks. So I just kept it the way that it is, but do note that in the movie he's got more gold on his chest armor. Here, of course, we've got Nick Fury, and I didn't do any updates to this figure beyond what we already got in the Spider-Man Far From Home sets, because I thought that it looked really great, and sometimes when a figure looks great out of the box, it's hard to update. Now, just comparing him side by side with the previous MCU Nick Fury that we got, you can see that he's got a new head. It's a little bit more detailed than the previous head, and then of course the torso and legs are completely different too. So which Fury do you like better? I'm curious to hear. Here we've got Maria Hill, who of course is Fury's accomplice in the movie, and I just used the version of Hill that came in the Spider-Man Far From Home minifigure pack. which I'll drop a link in the description below for you to pick up if you haven't already. Now, this figure uses recycled parts from other figures, just a standard basic brown ponytail. This head has shown up in a few places before, the torso from Ragnarok Bruce Banner, and then just some blue legs for jeans. But it's still a nice looking figure, and, you know, kind of like Fury, if you can't make any updates, no reason to touch a great figure. Now, just to be clear, like I said, this is Mysterio Unmasked, aka Quentin Beck. But in any case, to build this figure, it's really simple. The hair that I used has come in several places, but speaking of Spider-Man, it's come in the Venice set from Spider-Man Far From Home. I really like this Superman-style hair swept back there in brown, and the head, of course, is from Jurassic World from one of the ACU troopers that has this nice thick brown beard that looks a lot like what Jake Gyllenhaal has in Spider-Man Far From Home. Then, of course, the cape, torso, and legs are all from Mysterio from Far From Home, and then I put some tan hands on there to match his head, because if you look in the scene that I referenced for this video, he actually doesn't have his gloves on and he's just got his bare hands. Here we've got Dimitri, who's kind of like one of Fury's assistants at S.H.I.E.L.D. in Spider-Man Far From Home, and he ends up driving the bus at one point. Again, not a spoiler character, but he really wasn't shown in the marketing much, so this is the character. So I used the torso and legs from the Jurassic World series, but these have also come in other places like on Happy Hogan and things like that. Basically, you just want a nice looking black suit for Dimitri. The head is from General Zod from the Lego Batman Collectible Minifigure Series 2 from the Lego Batman movie, because I like that real stern look with the black beard. And then, of course, the long hair comes from Tasu Leech from Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's basically the Qui-Gon Jinn hair in black, and I think that it really rounds this figure out well. Here we've got the Spider-Man stealth armor, or if you've seen the movie, you'll know that this is called Night Monkey. But again, not a spoiler, because I didn't ruin anything from the movie, just a fun little joke for those of us who have seen the movie. In any case, guys, I didn't make any updates to this figure beyond what was in the set. I did try experimenting with some black arms, but I found that because there's gray under the, like in the armpit area of the torso, it actually didn't look that great, so I just kept the gray arms. But if you guys want to experiment around with some black arms that have some detail, kind of like the Highwaymen from the Lego Collectible Minifigure series or something, there are definitely some options out there, but again, I just like keeping it the way that it is to keep the gray counterbalanced. But let me know what you guys think, and if you would do something else, drop a comment and let me know. Alright, so starting with Peter Parker, I used the torso and legs from the Peter Parker that comes in the Spider-Man Far From Home Venice set, Hydro Man Attack. Then, of course, the face is from Marty McFly for that kind of sheepish Tom Holland look. And then, of course, the hair is this swept back wavy hair from Han Solo from the most recent iterations of the Star Wars sets. Next up, we have MJ, and the torso that I used here is from Claire Dearing from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I just kind of like that military jacket look. I think it looks like something that MJ might wear in the movie. Then, of course, because she's a teenager, I gave her some cool jeans legs there. And then I used the hands and head and the hair from the Spider-Man Far From Home Venice set, which, of course, was the Hydro Man attack. But I do think that the Bellatrix hair from the Harry Potter Lego series is pretty awesome too, but I don't have that hair, and it's super rare, so I figure a lot of you guys might not have it either. So I would suggest that hair if you have it, but if you don't have it, this hair works just as well. Next up, we've got Flash, and I love what they did in the movie with giving him that kind of awkward mustache goatee thing that, you know, some of us in high school or middle school might have had, and you look back now and it's kind of cringy. But in any case, to get that look, I used the head from Tasu Leech from Star Wars The Force Awakens. And funny enough, you know, you'd think that that head might look a little too old or mature, but I actually think it works really well, especially when paired with the long Bruce Banner hair from Thor Ragnarok or from Avengers Infinity War. Then I used some hands that match the head there. I gave him some brown legs to show that he's dressed a little more preppy than his classmates. And the torso I used is from Jay from the Lego Ninjago movie Collectible Minifigure series. Next up is Brad, who they didn't really show too terribly much in the marketing for the movie, but he definitely plays a big role among Peter's classmates, and I won't say too much more in case you haven't seen the movie yet. I don't want to spoil it, but in any case, to build this figure, I used some khaki-colored pants here to show that he's dressed a little preppy, kind of like Flash was. Then the torso I used is from Lloyd from the Lego Ninjago movie, with some tan hands paired with the head from Short Round from the Lego Indiana Jones sets from way back when, and then I used used just some hair from Happy Hogan, but it's very, very common hair. But it did come in the Spider-Man Far From Home sets, so if you have the Far From Home sets, you can get that here. Next up is Peter's best friend, Ned, and I actually didn't change anything based on his appearance in the Spider-Man Far From Home minifigure pack. Speaking of which, if you don't have that minifigure pack, I'll drop a link in the description below to where you can pick that up. And if we're gonna have Ned, it's just as important that we have Betty Brandt to go with him, and again, I won't say any more if you haven't seen the movie, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. So for this character, I gave her the torso from Macy from LEGO Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I gave her some jean-colored legs to show that she's dressed hip like all her teenage friends. Then the face I used is from Bo Peep from Toy Story 4, and the hair I used is from one of the Supergirl mini dolls from the LEGO DC Girls sets. So if you don't have that, you could of course just use some blonde hair, but I really like the hairband that's going through her hair, and it actually complements this figure really well if you ask me. So honestly, guys, all you need is a Spider-Man figure from Far From Home or Homecoming or whatever, and then you'll need a double-ended Sharpie with a skinny piece on this end and then a big, thick marker on this end. So all I did, guys, honestly, is I just colored in the blue parts on there. So you can see these figures side by side have all the same printing and everything. It's just that I colored black over anywhere that was once blue. So overall, guys, it looks really good. And the reason you need both is that the thick side of the Sharpie can really cover some, real estate that way, but there are some sides that you're going to need the skinny Sharpie to get inside the legs, to get between the spider legs and all of that, but side by side, it really does look great, so a Sharpie is all you need to make this new version of the suit that LEGO didn't give us. Alright guys, so like I said, there would be a spoiler warning, and this is it. If you've not seen Spider-Man Far From Home yet and you're scared of spoilers, you can duck out of the video now, because we're diving into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we'll start the spoiler section with a very soft spoiler. And this soft spoiler, of course, is for the Homecoming suit, which makes a brief appearance during an illusion that Mysterio casts over Spider-Man. And I've shown you guys how to build this before, but just for a quick recap, I used this dark red hood, I used the face from the Scarlet Spider Mighty Micros minifigure, I used the torso from the Trick or Treat Devil Kid from the LEGO Collectible minifigure series, some pale blue arms with dark red hands, and then the legs that came from one of the characters in the LEGO Big Bang Theory Ideas set. So it's a really simple way to build this suit, and I actually never thought we'd see it again in the MCU, but the MCU always finds ways to surprise us and bring us back. Here we've got Beck's assistant, who is played by Peter Billingsley, who, funny enough, was also the little kid Ralphie in the movie A Christmas Story, but he's also in Spider-Man Far From Home. So to build this figure, I used the torso and legs from Lex Luthor from the LEGO DC sets to make him look prim and proper in a suit, and then the head and the bald piece here on top is from the Alfred figures from the LEGO Batman movie. Now, something interesting is that this character was also in Iron Man. He's the guy that Obadiah Stane cursed out over the arc reactor, so it's always awesome to see how the MCU brings back old things, isn't it? In any case, to build Mysterio from the final battle, you'll want to reflect his CGI suit. Now, as of making this video, there really isn't any way for me to show you what that looks like since none of the images have been released. But that said, he has a CGI motion capture suit on, and to build that, I used the torso from Ghost from the Ant-Man and the Wasp set because I like that gray coloring and I think that it's kind of similar in a way. And then the legs that I used are from one of the Imperial engineers from the LEGO Star Wars line of sets. Moving up, the hair that I used is from Peter Parker from the Spider-Man Far From Home Venice battle set, and the face I used is from one of the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom troopers, and I like that big thick brown beard, and I used that in my other Mysterio video, so to stay consistent, I used it here too. Now you'll notice he's got a bubble around his head, and it's not the Mysterio bubble that comes in the Far From Home sets, it's actually the bubble that comes from Sandy Cheeks from the SpongeBob sets from many, many years ago. And the reason that I used this, you can see it comes off just like that. There's those little cuts in the side. You can open it. You can put this bubble on is to take the hair off, and it actually makes his face kind of bulge out and look funny. So I think it definitely looks better to A, keep his hair on, and B, put this big bubble around it to do it just like that. So putting that bubble on right here, but that is my custom Mysterio from the final battle. Now jumping to that epic mid-credit scene, we've of course got J. Jonah Jameson. Now, I just used the regular J. Jonah Jameson figure from the LEGO Marvel sets, the most recent version of him that we've gotten as of this video, but I put that bald piece on him from Alfred from the LEGO Batman movie, and you can see his mustache is still showing a little bit on the back, but it almost just looks like more hair, funny enough. But I think that it looks really good for that post-credits scene, and what I will say is that the torso is not 100% accurate to what we see on screen. Technically, he has like a dress shirt on with a sport coat over top, and I actually think that this figure from the LEGO collectible minifigure series of soccer players from Germany would be awesome, but I know that a lot of people aren't going to have that figure, so I wanted to go with something that's a little bit more accessible to everybody, myself included, because I don't even have that figure. And for our final figure of this showcase, we've of course got Talos as Nick Fury, who was revealed in the final post-credits scene of Far From Home. So to do this, you just use the Far From Home Nick Fury, the head, headpiece, and hands from Talos, mash those together, and you've got this figure. Now, you could also do the same thing for Maria Hill, but I thought that Talos' face looked a little masculine, because of course Talos' wife is posing as Maria Hill this entire time, so, you know, you could go either way with it. It's not a big deal, but I just didn't think it looked that good, and I only have one Talos, so I can't show you them side by side, but that's what I would do if I had two Talos. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this Spider-Man Far From Home showcase. Be sure to drop a comment below and let me know which of these figures was your favorite, and if you plan on making any of these, let me know too. Sadly, this is the last MCU showcase for a long time because, well, we're not really sure what's coming up next for Marvel. So, Black Widow is probably the next one that I'll do, but, you know, we don't even have a release date for that movie, so I'm gonna do some other showcases, guys, so be sure to drop a comment below and let me know what kind of showcase do you want to see. DC Comics, Indiana Jones, you know, I don't know, get creative. Let me know what kind of showcases you want to see from here on out, and I'll be sure to check out those comments. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, build on. If you liked what you saw and you liked what you heard, feel free to click that subscribe button for more LEGO content coming in the near future. So, thanks for tuning in to today's video, and until next time, build on.